Good evening. Good evening. We're about to start this meeting of the Sumner County Board of Education, but before we do, I'm going to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag, and anyone who feels like they would like to join me, please feel free to do so. Join me in the pledge. All right, first item on the agenda is roll call. Mr. Johnson, do you have the roll? Yes, sir. All righty, you always do. You're good. Next item on the agenda is election of a board chairperson. So we'll open the floor for nominations.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, are you looking at me?
No, I was looking at Mr. Gregory. I saw
Well,
his
you want
light
him to
first.
go before me, or you want me to go first?
It doesn't matter.
Well,
Since I called Mr.
I nominate Mr. Tim Brewer.
All righty, nominations of Tim Brewer.
and I'll second.
Well, thank you.
Since I didn't get to do
All right. Any other nominations?
I move nomination cease.
Motion on the table to cease nominations. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hawkins. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That being said, Tim Brewer just got elected by acclamation. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the election of a vice chairperson. Ms. Hayes.
Yes, Chairman Brewer, I nominate Alice Bachman for vice chair.
Second.
We got 2 seconds. Is any other nominations?
Move nomination cease.
Motion on the table for nominations cease. Second by Mr. Daniels. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And it looks like Ms. Bachman is elected by by acclamations. The next item on the agenda is approval of, or the adoption of the regular agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Mr. Wise, second by Ms. Hayes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, we have an agenda. Next item on the agenda is the adoption of the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Mr. Gregory,
Second.
second by Mr. Wise. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Seeing none, we have a consent agenda. Scroll down here. Next item on the agenda is consideration of the minutes, discussion and interaction regarding the minutes of the August 21st regular meeting. Is there a motion? Motion approved by Ms. Bachman, second by Ms. Hayes. Any discussion?
Yes, discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hawkins.
Mr. Chairman, I must confess, before I vote on something, I could not find where the minutes were linked on this week's agenda. I may have not have looked at the right point.
That'd be a Mr. Johnson's question, I think.
They are linked, I just checked it.
Where, you see where you can read them?
Yeah, I'm finding the link.
I just don't have. Oh. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Okay, they're not on the public, they're on the authenticated agenda. Thank you. That answers my question.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes, say aye. All opposed? Seeing none, minutes approved. Next item on the agenda is recognition and delegation of hearings, recognition of Allison Henry of Hendersonville High School, and Miss Tammy Hayes is going to take care of that.
has to be in a very small handful of students as a sophomore who took the ACT and scored a perfect score. Miss Allen, you know, we never could. Scott Langford had looked, Jerry was looking, and ACT, I guess they're pretty protective of their statistics. But even a student who scores a 36 is in the 0.1% of those who take the ACT. So we have a sophomore. Now, Miss Allison is a junior this year. She took it as a sophomore. Not many sophomores even take it. She scored a 36 on, I'm claiming, and for Sumner County and the state of Tennessee, you are the only one in the nation who has ever done this. So before I read you the certificate, I wanted to have Jennifer Cutler and then recognize Miss Watts. I felt like this was decided at a football game on Friday night. I said, Jennifer, you know her. You really know her. The educators have invested in these students. And Jennifer wants to share about the awesome young woman you are. Not just the gift and abilities of your intellect, but who you are as a person and your work ethic. This is a well-rounded young lady. So I wanted Ms. Cutler to share a little bit about.
I'm trying not to start crying. I want to congratulate Allison on this amazing ACT score, but I want to applaud her more for her innate intelligence on this really difficult standardized test. But most importantly, I want to celebrate Allison for her amazing work ethic. She came to me at the beginning of 9th grade and said, Ms. Cutler, I have a dream. I want to go to Vanderbilt. And I said, that is an awesome dream. As a Vanderbilt graduate myself, I know I love it, go Commodores, but I also know how hard it is to get in. And especially these days, Vanderbilt wanting such a geographic diversity that the deck is really stacked against you as a Middle Tennessean. So I told her the way to accomplish that was to get a really high ACT score. Never in my wildest dreams did I think she would make the highest on her first try. Her first try, first time. So I know I need y'all to understand how hard this young lady works. She had the maturity as a freshman to set that as a goal. She had the dedication for 2 years, and Ms. Watson, I've had her for 2 years. In every assignment, in every class for those 2 years, for me, Ms. Watts, Mr. Gilbert, and Ms. Elmore, she took both my advanced maths. She had Ms. Watts and Mr. Gilbert for advanced Englishes both year, and Ms. Elmore for AP Social Studies both year. This girl's taken the hardest classes at the highest level, and every day came in with her homework done perfectly, and if she had a question, was not afraid to raise her hand and ask, was not afraid to ask or help a peer or investigate or say, Ms. Cutler, I can't, will you help me? She was mature enough to understand that the ACT is not something you just do a prep class for, it's something that you prepare every day in your high school career for. I just want y'all to understand how hard this young lady works, but she does it with a smile on her face every day and a happy heart. In the spring, a lot of teachers, a lot of high school teachers, we give EOC 10 ready, sorry I'm old, 10 ready now, practice tests. We give them study packets, and most of our students look at them, they study them, but they don't peruse, they don't go, they don't dive in, they just kind of glance. Allison went over every one of those packets. As a math teacher, I take a group to the Middle Tennessee Math Teachers Association test at Ball State every year, and again, I give them study packets for the last couple of weeks before the test. All we do is discuss in class the week's problems, but there's extra ones on the packet. Allison did every question every week on every packet. Before the ACT itself, weeks leading up to that, she took 10 practice tests at length. Each one of those tests is a 3.5 hour, so she dedicated herself. It's just amazing that a 14 and 15-year-old, much less a 18, 19-year-old, but a 14 and 15-year-old would have that much forethought to be able to know what she wanted to do for college, to have that much maturity, to understand the level of dedication that it took, and to appreciate the extra work and the extra opportunities that her teachers gave her to study. So I really want to celebrate Allison today, not for her score, but for her as a student and what she has done in her 9th and 10th grade years as a high school student.
Presented by the Sumner County Board of Education to Allison Henry, presented Tuesday, September the 18th, 2018, in recognition of your scoring a 36, a perfect score on your ACT test. Thank you for representing Hendersonville High School and Sumner County schools with class and with pride and with integrity and with a work ethic that just blows us all away. Thank you. Practice does make perfect. We wish you well in your pursuit of greatness for your community, your family, and yourself. We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes. Jennifer Cutler, Carmen Watts, Bob Potter, the principal. I want to recognize, and you might want to get a picture and then join up here. This is Vicki. This is Mother. Okay, and this is Sharon, grandmother, and David, grandpa, here. Pop.
My husband had to work.
That's right, and his first name is?
Stephen.
Stephen is the father. So
They'll come around and
rest of
sit
the
here.
family. So, yes, sir. Well, she's going to finish her junior and senior year. And Vanderbilt sounds like where she's going. We'll ask. Thank you, Sarah.
Mr. Chairman.
Before everybody sits down, or go ahead and sit down, but before you leave, some of the board members may have some comments. Mr. Hawkins has his light on. Mr. Hawkins?
Thank you. Allison Henry. Allison Henry. Hi. I want to thank you for doing what you've done and for having the wisdom to also listen to your teachers, to Miss Jennifer Kotler, math teacher, and Miss Carmen Watts, English teacher. You have been well served in following their instruction. You'll have other opportunities to listen to wise people, but in the meantime, keep up the great work. And if anyone asks you about the test, just be modest and say, well, I guess I won't take the ACT a second time. So that would be, but while we have Carmen Watts here, Miss Watts, would you step forward again for just a moment, please? We have not gotten the chance to personally recognize and thank our Sumner County High School Teacher of the Year, Carmen Watts, English faculty for the past 6.5, 7 years at Hendersonville High School. Congratulations on your being named Teacher of the Year in March of this year for all of Sumner County high schools. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes, I would just like to say congratulations, Allison. Where for many people that may be a surprise that you scored a 36, it doesn't surprise me at all. I've known Allison for many years. Her mom and I met several years ago in the consignment craziness. And let me just tell you that Allison is amazing, and she's amazing because she has two amazing women to look up to. Pop, unfortunately, I don't. You're probably amazing as well, but I do know well her mother and her grandmother, and they are two of the hardest working women that I've ever met. And y'all are wonderful role models, and it's obvious that she has looked up to you and she has done well. The other thing that many may not realize is that Allison also has represented Sumner County on a national level when she went to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. She did a great job there as well. So again, there have been kind of baby steps that I've seen her. She won, is this correct, for the VFW, once for an essay. So over and above, Allison continues to just shine bright for Sumner County. I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you're staying, wanting to stay in Middle Tennessee. I hope that you do well at Vanderbilt, because I have absolutely no doubt that you will absolutely be accepted.
Thank you. And while I'm here, I'd like to thank these two teachers especially, because they are two of the most amazing teachers ever, and I couldn't have done it without them or any of my teachers. So, HHS has amazing teachers.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. That is fantastic. That's the fun part of being up here. We love seeing things like that. Allison, you did a great job. All the teachers, all the staff, y'all just leave me speechless. Y'all are just special people. We thank you.
Mr. Chair, could we also recognize Mr. Bob Cotter for promoting and supporting an atmosphere of excellence at Hendersonville High School?
Absolutely.
Good job. All righty. Moving along, matters involving council. Don't think we have any tonight. None. And we don't have a report from the director, and so we're going to move on to new business. First item on the agenda for new business, discussion interaction regarding a revision to policy JB, student attendance. This is upon second reading. Do I have a motion? Moved by Mr. Daniels, second by Mr. Wise. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Item number 2, discussion interaction regarding a revision to policy J-6.411, student wellness upon second reading. Do I have a motion? Motion by Ms. Hayes, second by Ms. Bachman. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Item number 3, discussion interaction regarding final release of retainage for the Nanny Berry project. Do I have a motion? So moved by Ms. Hayes. That is your name, isn't it? So moved by Ms. Hayes, second by Mr. Gregory. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business. As I scroll down here a little bit where I can see a little bit better. Discussion interaction regarding amendments to the general purpose budget. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Daniels, second by Mr. Wise. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Item number 2, discussion interaction regarding amendments to the federal budget. Do I have a motion? Motion to approve by Mr. Gregory, second by Mr. Wise. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is discussion of study session items. Ms. Hayes.
Yes, Chairman Brewer. Thank you. I would ask, with the board's permission, that we place on the October, October's going to be a little different because we're having our regular voting meeting the 16th, I think. Okay, and then we're having the board study session, which is our retreat, following. So I'm asking, with the board's permission, that we place on the agenda for the October 16th meeting the naming of the press box, the new press box at the Paul Decker Memorial Stadium after Bruce Hatfield. So could we put that on the agenda? And the reason that I'm asking your permission is that we can move through this since we're not having the study session I'm understanding the order of this would be discussion, then a study session, we actually discuss, and then we vote the next meeting. So with the board's permission, would you consider placing it on the agenda? Press box is built, okay? So it's like, this is football season, and it would be nice to have this done so that we can get it officially named, officially by the Sumner County School Board. So I'm asking your permission that we place that on the October 16th
Sounds like
agenda.
a good idea to
Yep.
me.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hayes. Without any objection, we'll put that on the agenda.
Thank you.
And I can't imagine Bruce Hatfield's name not being on there somewhere or another. He's definitely Hendersonville football, that's for sure.
Yes, sir, and at that next meeting, I can expound and give a little bio and history on Coach Hatfield then. Thank you.
All right, any other items to put, Ms. Andrews?
Yes, and I apologize that that I actually didn't send this in an email because it's just kind of some cleanup. But Roz, can we, and we probably need to adjust it both here and then where we have it in the policy, we have here that we're going to go policy GAA through GAK. Policy G actually starts at G 4.4061. So like we've technically skipped those. So can we just update to reflect, and I apologize to not send that email, but I just remembered that I had noticed that.
All right, thank you, Ms. Andrews. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to communications from board members. Ms. Hayes, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Chairman Brewer. I first want to, I think we all got mailed this. I'm going to, did you all get this in the mail? Okay, this is the 3rd Annual Sumner County Board of Education Health and Wellness Fair. This is going to be September 20th on Thursday, okay? 3 to 6:30. So at the Gallatin Civic Center. So I thought that would be something we could go and be present and be supportive of, and also just learn some information on health and wellness. So wanted to bring that up. Also, I had attempted, and I think it got out to you all, Mary's Magical Place has its ribbon cutting. The grand opening is next Tuesday, September the 25th. The official ribbon cutting is at 5, but they're going to have a sensory-friendly opening from 4 to 5. So, and I think, Norma, did you get my email? So just anybody that could be there and be supportive and would want to be there for the Mary's Magical Place opening. Also, I have a new friend that I met during the campaign, and I'd like to just recognize Donnie Crenshaw, who ran for District 1 School Board Representative. Donnie. And Donnie is here tonight. He is the director of Children Are People Too. And he's a new friend. So you can do the campaign thing, and you can do it well, and do it civilly, and be friends. So thank you, Donnie, for being here tonight. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. I'll get it right one of these days. Ms. Bachman.
No comment this evening, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. Ms. Andrews.
Yes, so a couple of things. One, tomorrow at 10, we have the Gene Brown groundbreaking. If you're able to make that, I know, exciting. I think that kind of finishes up 4 or 5 year plan. So that's exciting, and I know they're excited over there for that. Two, I know that Ms. Hayes and I sometimes have a friendly, we did not have a friendly wager this year, but congratulations to Hendersonville on the 37075 competition. We will get it back next year, but congratulations this year. Still say go Bucks. And then also, I just want to say, on September 8th of this year, Beach High School cross country hosted the Coleman Midget Invitational. And I was blessed to be able to be a part of that and go and help. And it's amazing to see that community and to see that family honored. Coleman was an amazing kid. And they originally, that was prior called the Beach Invitational, and they've renamed it to Coleman Midget Invitational. Previously, the most kids that they had run was 500 kids. They planned for 750. There were over 1,300 runners between middle school and high school. So it was an incredible opportunity, not just for their team, but for that family to be able to share Coleman's story. And so I just want to publicly thank the Beach High School cross country for doing that.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. Mr. Duncan.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything this evening. Thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Mr. Hawkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to just quickly recognize Chris Brown from the IT department for a lightning quick response. After a matter involving needed computers for Fine Arts Portfolio was brought to my attention, I forwarded it to the director, and it was handled almost the same day, if not within 24 hours. So I appreciate that very much. Secondly, I want to similarly quick and over the and above response by Jeremy Johnson and by Dr. Phillips when I requested information regarding our 20-day numbers for the past few years. Dr. Phillips and Mr. Johnson provided not only the total numbers that I've requested for the last 4 years, but the school-by-school numbers dating back for 18 years so that we may see the trends, including the openings and the rezonings, and have that information for our use as we head toward our retreat on October 23rd. Thank you for that over and above, very informative response. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. Mr. Daniels.
Yep, thank you. I want to take a second to thank Mr. Andy Brown. I've been in touch with the Gallatin Quarterback Club, and there's just been some little things. They've gone through some upgrades to the stadium. They're putting the concession stand, and he's been able to jump on those and get those taken care of really quickly. And it doesn't seem like a big deal when, a chain link to the reserved section's broken off and doesn't work, or when a light's flickering, or maybe there's no air conditioning in the ticket booth unless you're in the ticket booth in the middle of the summer. But little things like that, he's been able to jump on and get fixed. And I know the folks over at Gallatin High School and the community really appreciate you taking the time to not overlook those little things that sometimes get missed. So thank you very much for that. And I also want to take a second to congratulate Mr. Brewer and Ms. Bachman. I've enjoyed serving with you guys for the last 4 years, 8 years with Mr. Brewer, but I look forward to another great year. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Mr. Wise.
No comment.
Ms. Brown.
Just glad to be back.
Mr. Gregory.
This question to Mr. Langford. How has your appeal been going, or do you have any feedback yet about the portfolios?
Yes, sir, Mr. Gray. They're in the process of rescoring those right now. We resubmitted. We had about 91 that we submitted to the state to be rescored, or excuse me, 134 total. It was different areas that you could appeal. So every kindergarten teacher that received a 1 in a category where the state deemed it a submission error, we appealed those, and they're in the process right now of rescoring those. So I follow some of it on Facebook. There's a kindergarten teacher Facebook page. That's where I get most of my information on it, and since it's on Facebook, it's true. But generally speaking, this information has been pretty good. But some of the kindergarten teachers that are doing the scoring from around the state, they're posting that they finished theirs. So I'm hopeful that in the next week or so we'll get some more information from the state. But that's kind of where we are right now.
Do we have any teachers involved in the scoring?
We do. You had to, for each 10 resubmissions that you did, you had to provide a score. So we had 14 kindergarten teachers that were scoring portfolios.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Mr. Wilkerson.
I just want to say it's good to be part of the team.
Yeah. Well, that brings it back to me. I just want to thank y'all for the confidence in you for allowing me to be your chairman once again. I look forward to working with all you folks. We've got a great thing going here. We've got when you look and see a product of what's going on from administration down and doing what Allison did, it just makes you feel good to just be a tiny part of it. So I thank y'all for allowing me to be your chairman, and I'll do my best to to improve. And when you come to me and tell me you got ball games to go to, I'll try to put my auctioneer voice on and talk fast and get you out of here. As long as we get the business done. Speaking of getting the business done, we will adjourn, but before you leave, we are going to make a board picture tonight. So please don't leave until you get the board picture made. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Then with that, we are adjourned till we and go get the picture made.